This video features the animated comedic short, The Art of the Phish, followed by commentary from Ron Gula about investing in counter-phishing cyber startups.
All right, folks. Today, I'm going to educate you all on the various types of phishing attacks we're facing. It's serious out there. This presentation could save the company millions.
Millions in boredom, maybe.
Let's start with whaling. Whaling targets high-level executives, the big fish, if you will. Hackers craft emails tailored to the decision-makers.
Wait, are you saying I'm a whale? Is this some kind of personal attack?
No! It's just a metaphor. You're not a whale. You're just, an important target.
I think he just called you a large target.
Moving on, let's talk about spear phishing. Spear phishing is a highly targeted attack, usually aimed at individuals with specific access or privileges.
So do we need to give everyone spears for protection? HR's going to love that.
No actual spears. It's... Okay, picture this. Hackers pretend to be someone you know and send you an email.
Like an email from you about a mandatory presentation?
Not funny. Now let's move to clone phishing. This is when attackers create an identical copy of a legitimate email, but replace the links with malicious ones.
Are we being cloned? Is this like that time Joe tried to copy my hairstyle?
It was a coincidence.
No cloning of people, just emails.
Are we sure? Because two Joes could really disrupt the office ecosystem.
And finally, let's discuss smishing. Smishing targets individuals via text messages.
Oh, I got one of those last week. It said my Netflix account was suspended unless I clicked the link. I don't even have Netflix.
Exactly. That's a perfect example.
Wait, so I shouldn't have clicked the link?
You clicked it. We're doomed.
Yeah, but I only entered half my password before it asked for my credit card.
Is there a type of phishing where the hackers just give up because the targets are too clueless?
Yes, hackers call it self-inflicted denial of intelligence. Now let's talk about vishing. These are fake video messages.
Wait, so someone might send me a video that's not real? Like those deepfake cat videos my nephew keeps posting on my Facebook?
Not exactly. These are more malicious.
So no deepfake cats?
No deepfake cats. Just fake videos tricking you into sharing sensitive information.
So basically, it's like when Joe pretended his camera wasn't working during last week's Zoom call?
That was a technical issue.
Watch here. I created a deepfake video of myself asking Joe to wire me $1 million. Hi, Joe. It's Coleman with an urgent message. I need you to wire $1 million to my Bermuda bank account. It's really important. Thank you.
Coleman, since we are in person, can you verify your banking info so I can get that wire out before close of business today? Do I get points for not using texting or email to send bank data?
Wait, what? No, that was a fake request for wiring money.
Looked real to me.
Never mind. Moving on. Let's address the myth about VPNs.
Oh, I clicked on a suspicious link the other day, but I was on a VPN, so I'm totally fine, right?
No! Most VPNs don't protect you from clicking on bad links unless you have one doing full content inspection.
But it's a virtual protection network.
Virtual private network. It protects your connection, not your decisions.
So basically, it's like using a locked briefcase to carry an open bag of candy.
And then blaming the briefcase when your candy gets stolen.
I honestly have no idea what you are talking about, and am fishing to find a clue. Okay, last one. Watering hole attacks. These attacks target websites frequently visited by specific groups.
So, like the coffee machine in the break room?
No. It's about compromising websites, not literal watering holes or coffee machines.
Unless hackers are putting malware in coffee, those IoT devices are not secure.
With this group, I'm more worried about someone putting decaf in the pot.
That's it. Presentation over. Next time, I'm just sending you a training video.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll think it's a phishing attack and delete it.
Hi there, it's Ron Gula from Gula Tech Adventures, and in this week's video, we are going to discuss investing in phishing. Now, this is the third video in our series where we did investing in AI. Last week, we did investing in encryption. I shouldn't have called it investing in crypto. YouTube and some folks thought that was more like Bitcoin investing and stuff. But this week, we're going to talk about phishing. Now, we're not talking about doing phishing. We're talking about preventing phishing. So we're going to go through all the different kinds of phishing that happen out there. And we're going to talk about what the opportunity is to invest and defend customers, because this is still a big problem, right? It's 2025 and phishing is still one of the #1 ways people get compromised, which can lead to doxing, ransomware, just, actually breaking into a network and that sort of thing. I'm going to talk about some of the companies we've invested in. I'm also going to talk about companies we've been pitched. I'm not going to name them specifically, but we're going to talk about what's going on in those markets and so on. So, the really big one that we got to start with is just basic email phishing. Now, the concept here is you're going to try to send some sort of email and compromise somebody in your target, but it's a lot more subtle and complex than that. The big companies that are in this space are, of course, Proofpoint, Microsoft, and Google, because they just carry so much email that's out there, but there's still a lot of room for innovation. Companies you might not have heard of if you're not in the space. Abnormal is another big company that does enterprise email phishing. Sublime is another up and comer that's doing enterprise email phishing. Our investment in this space is focused on the MSP, the small business spaces, called Inky. Inky's been using AI to basically, be a man in the middle, so to speak, on all the email you receive that comes from Google or Microsoft for your enterprise. I'm going to log on to my Inky console here. So, like most anti-phishing companies, you basically get an overview of all the different emails that have come in, where they've come from. If something got trapped by error, this is pretty standard type stuff. But what makes Inky, kind of different is the fact that you can look and report information right in the GUI. If we look at something like, I'll just apologize here for a second. We go to spam, pull this up here. Now this is a spam email, right? So this is not that interesting. But what's cool about Inky is they actually put a banner right in the web email. Now, whether you're using a thick client, whether you're using a web-based client, it's going to render in that consistently for all your users. Now, one of the cool things about that is that it counts for awareness training, right? Anytime somebody receives an email that's phishing and they report it, basically that counts as their cyber awareness training. Now, that's pretty cool, and I'm really happy with Inky's ability to kind of defend small business. They actually got some amazing data leakage prevention, some signatures, some things that are really, really good for business. But Inky and Proofpoint and frankly, Microsoft and Google, they all suffer the same problem, that they only really work on corporate email. They don't protect you as a user. Now, you as a user, you're probably using Gmail, you're probably using Outlook, but you probably, or maybe Proton or something like that, but it's really hard to add third-party, enterprise, sophisticated, threat-informed, latest phishing onto that. So what can you do? Well, one of the things you can do is you can basically focus on the browser, and you can put tools in the browser to kind of look for phishing. Now, our investment in this place is called Pixm. Pixm is a browser plugin, and it sits right inside your browser. I'm going to switch over here. And the plugin basically uses AI, and it looks at the websites that are being rendered. And if those websites have phishing content, that's not a security analysis, doesn't prevent exploits, it looks for phishing. And what happens when that happens is you can then...
It's GTAQA bot. I thought Ron's demo of Pixm could use some help. In this video, we have a Firefox browser loaded with the Pixm plugin. It's the blue icon in the upper right. We will now randomly search for some sneakers and then visit the website. This site had no phishing content. We will now load a fake Amazon Web Services site hosted on a Gula Tech web server. As you can see, Pixm flags this website as malicious. We will now try a more generic Microsoft Outlook login page. This too is flagged to the user, and as Ron is about to show, log to your SIM and a screenshot saved of what the user may have been phished with. Now back to Ron.
Basically get an alert, send it to your SIM, that sort of stuff. So we're going to go to my my account here, pull up the threat feed. We're going to look for the past year, and we had some threats detected. You can kind of go see what those are. So with Pixm, you can go look in your history and see what kind of people have been phished for. In our here at Gula Tech, we had a couple websites that were tested here, and you can go back and you can actually see what the user was actually prompted. Now, the way Pixm works is they actually do this phishing analysis on every web page that's rendered. So it doesn't matter if it comes in from an email, if it comes in from a fraudulent text, fraudulent, DNS, that sort of thing. And the cool thing about this is it's all AI-based, looking for basically logo placement and that sort of stuff. And my last comment on Pixm is that you can actually run it on your phones. They work with Safari on mobile phones, and you can get that same kind of coverage that's out there, and that's actually pretty useful. So that's the high level thought on basically email security, email phishing. And a lot of times we get pitched companies. It's like, hey, we can process the emails quicker, so we can do it at a lower cost. Maybe we can process the emails and be better at detecting. A lot of times I've had companies, speak with Proofpoint, Microsoft, Google, and the things they're talking about is not only the efficacy of how they stop phishing, but also the efficiency of that. And it's funny, as an investor, we're always looking for ways to save money or increase the efficacy of our defenses so we can basically make security more affordable to people out there. Right now, I really feel like Inky has got the best sort of efficiency for detecting the best amount of phishing that's out there. We constantly see them stop stuff that gets through a lot of other places that's out there. All right, now moving on. There's other kinds of phishing, right, that we haven't even scratched the surface, right? Really, when you start into targeting a company, that's called spear phishing, where you're trying to target the users in there. Now, the same techniques you might be delivering email, but you're looking to target a user that's in there. And a lot of times we will get pitched companies that try to focus on either email phishing awareness training, security awareness training, or actual penetration type things. Now, we haven't done investments in this area yet. We think there's a lot of great companies out there. KnowBe4, Huntress has a great security awareness training thing. But on the offensive side, we have been pitched some really, really amazing tools where you just point at a domain and it harvests all the LinkedIn accounts and it starts, targeting those people with, potentially fake things that could be malvertising. It could be a wide number of things. Now, as a former pen tester for the NSA, I like seeing stuff like that, But most organizations I talk to don't really have the need to do that. They think they can do that on their own with their own budget. So it's just not the best thing for us. Now, another thing that we're seeing people do is do deception, like put faked accounts out there, faked email accounts, fake LinkedIn profiles. And when those things occur, it's a way to detect that your organization is being targeted by that. We like that. That's pretty cool. And another series of companies that we're seeing is basically if the pitch is this, right? Let's say you're an enterprise employee or organization, you have 1,000 employees. Well, those 1,000 employees probably have 1,000 private email addresses. You really have no visibility into what those people are doing. Now, you could deploy Pixm, you could deploy other things like that. But for the most part, if you want to proactively go out and do that, you have all these privacy issues, right? If you're the corporate organization, you want to protect an employee, do you offer it as a benefit? Do you ask them if you're going to work here, you have to tell them what your private, it's a lot of issues with that. But one of the things we've been seeing is that organizations are just getting a list of employees, and then they're using breach databases to basically go out and find that. And I think this is very promising. First time I got this, I thought it was a cool idea. I've gotten this pitched a couple times. So again, we haven't pulled the trigger there, but it's a way to at least turn that breach data into some really, really good, information there. Now, another more specific type of spear phishing is whaling, where you're going to specifically go after the CEOs, the executives, the people who can move money. And that's interesting. And that, again, you're going to have this layered defense. You're going to do a lot of the same things for email security and business email commerce. But we get pitched a lot of technology that can actually mitigate this. One of the things that you can do to protect your executives is do some sort of out-of-band communications, right? Your processes should be on Slack, Signal, Teams. And I know to some people feel like one of those things is not the secure thing on that list. And it's an interesting time to figure that out. But it still goes down to the fact, even if you have something like a Mattermost or something, do you have a set of out-of-band, secure, authorized communications? Now, we've had a series of investments we've done in the past. They haven't done that well, where people can control their own sort of phones and communications and cryptography. Did a whole video on House of Enclaves where you can kind of, if you separate these computers, you have this zone of trust where you can communicate with each other, and you know that there's no phishing content that can be on there. Now, Wicker was acquired by Amazon. You still got a lot of great companies out there that are doing so, but they're not big. Everybody's using Signal and they think that's mostly secure. Another thing you have to do for your executives is do some form of two-factor authentication that's not based on SMS texting, because that can be spoofed. We know all the core routers are compromised right now. And doing some sort of common, two-factor authentication is a great way to keep your CEOs and your executives, from being phished and whaled, so to speak. Now, again, all of this stuff we've done before, it all builds up on that. But a lot of times, awareness and teaching the CEOs and the executives out there that those things are a threat to them. Even in 2025, I'm still running into executives who don't think that they're going to be targeted and that sort of thing. Now, I kind of mentioned this already, but a fourth area that we're going to talk about is smishing. And we've actually talked to some companies who can prevent malicious text being sent to the endpoints. Now, this is a weird time to talk about this because the FCC has been fining AT&T and Verizon for a variety of cybersecurity and privacy issues. But the reality is this: it's pretty cheap to send a text to a lot of people. I can do it for political reasons. I can do it for health reasons. Maybe I'm going to talk about a North Korean missile coming to Hawaii. Maybe I want to talk about a health incident, weather. So the phone companies are really, really, they're gun shy about blocking SMS, even if they know it's fraudulent, right? So how can you protect yourself? Well, one of the companies we've run into that I'm going to plug, we're not really involved in it, is Cape. Cape is an MVNO. So if you've seen Ryan Reynolds sell his MVNO on TV during football on Sundays, it's basically it's a separate type of phone company. Now, they're using the same cell phone signals that we are and stuff like that, but they can do a couple interesting things. And Cape really kind of basically says, look, we're going to stop phishing using AI, or smishing using AI, so no more bad text. But they're also going to do things like try to prevent SIM swapping and things like that. So I would like to encourage the larger phone companies to do these kind of things and take security a little bit more proactive. But it's this balance, right? Is texting a reliability thing, or is texting, something that can be stopped? I mean, the federal government, because of all the typhoon stuff going on with the core right now, federal government's basically come out and said, don't trust SMS texting at all, let alone, looking for phishing and stuff like that. Now, having said that, besides Cape, look, when a cool thing about going back to Pixm with the browser plugins is, let's say you got a fake email or a fake text, SMS text, and you clicked on that link on your phone. If you're going to go to a brand impersonation site, something like Pixm is going to get that. So if it's a false FedEx site, a false UPS site, you're going to actually be protected there, and that's a good thing. Now, we haven't seen a whole lot of cyber technology, which is typically, IP addresses and DNS names, stop that kind of stuff, but it is coming. Now, another thing that we're seeing a lot of pitches on, we haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet, is I'm going to call it Vishing, but I'm also going to call it whatever the video form of Vishing is, where someone's going to use either a real person to impersonate somebody or even an AI to impersonate somebody. Now, we get a lot of pitches on using AI to detect, false AI things, or using AI to detect impersonations, people lying and that kind of stuff. Again, we haven't pulled the trigger on it because it's really, really hard to find that use case for either a personal person or a large enterprise. Like, is this agent going to run on your desktop and look at everything on your desktop, whether it's Zoom or Google or Teams or, whatever it is, or Slack even? Or is it something that runs on your phone and is constantly listening to what you're doing? We've been pitched a lot of stuff in this area. And almost every time we look at this problem, we end up not investing because we're like, look, two-factor authentication, common authentication is what protects us. Like at Gula Tech Adventures, you can't do a corporate Zoom with me and my other coworkers at Gula Tech without being authenticated. So if someone's going to authenticate somebody and then spoof an AI, I guess we're open to that. But I don't think that's a use case that's going to happen just yet. Now, I know there's been some big money lost from people who've done that, but these are people who are, on unauthenticated Zoom sessions, and it's buyer beware at that point. Now, the last thing I'm going to kind of talk about, though, is when the phishing kind of bleeds over into attacking. And I'm not going to go full on with the cybersecurity, how to protect yourself online, but there's a form of phishing where the goal of a lot of phishing is to hack into somebody. And if I can get people be hacked by having an exploit on a website with like a watering hole, if I can have an exploit on a place that people trust, if I can do malvertising, or I can get people to come to my malicious content that I'm targeting, there's a lot of issues with that. Now, it's a couple different technologies that we have in our stack, but personally, I'm going to show a video here, and I'll just kind of talk through this here in a second.
Hi there, it's GTA QA Bot. I thought Ron could use some help and graphics with his explanation. Ron runs a split tunnel where traffic from his Chrome browser goes over an open VPN connection to Trinity Cyber. Trinity Cyber removes any malicious attacks or content in traffic to or from Ron's laptop with break and inspect and full content inspection technology. Ron has also configured his Firefox browser with the Conceal browser plugin and a direct connection to the internet via a Squid proxy. This allows independent testing of hostile websites.
Basically, I was going, my younger son just had a birthday, and I live in Baltimore, and we were going to Mustang Alleys, which is a duckpin bowling place, great place to go. And basically, what happened was the website was hosting malware. So as I was, subscribing here, I'm on the Trinity portal, and the Trinity portal, basically, I'm VPNing out to that. And I'm kind of using this in this particular video. I'm kind of doing two things there. I'm VPN'd out through Trinity, but I'm also on my Firefox browser. I'm also going out through through a browser that's protected with Conceal. And basically, what happened with Mustang Alleys is, as I went to it, it was downloading the Sign1 JavaScript. And again, Trinity just removed it. I actually got a call from the CEO. They thought I was testing this malware. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not testing that. But then, we're also invested in Conceal, which is a browser-based, kind of plugin that does a full stack sort of analysis of all the HTML that comes in. And I said, well, gee, why didn't they see it? And of course, if I'm on the Trinity VPN, the attacks are being removed and Conceal's not even seeing it. So I actually set up a out-of-band connection so I could test this and go back to the website here. And I'll be doing that in just in a second. We're showing on the video on the right, we're showing that it did indeed grab sign 1 and pull that out. Now, sign 1 is a very, very malicious JavaScript that can steal credit cards, do some redirecting, do some stuff like that. And then on Mustang Alleys over here on the west, as soon as we went to it, Conceal also found out that it was a suspicious website and that sort of thing. So the reason why I talk about that is because there are a lot of other ways that you can be redirected. It could be DNS hijacking. We have an investment in DNS filter. It could be malicious JavaScript, like we just talked about with Sign 1. It can actually be an exploit that could come into your browser. Now, technically, that's not phishing, but if somebody's waiting to be exploited and then seeing what's going on, it's definitely a way to do that. So our 2 investments in that space, Trinity Cyber and Conceal. Again, Trinity removes all the attacks over a VPN. Conceal's doing it on a browser web page by web page session. Both really interesting products in that space. Now, we've been pitched a lot of neat things in this space. So, better browser posture management, for example. We've been talking about Sention doing hardening of configurations. And it was a recent investment we did late in 24. They're about to release browser hardening policies for their stuff. That's going to be kind of interesting as well. We get pitched a lot of things in this space too. Again, competitors to Conceal and Trinity. So we don't really like to invest in multiple things that do the same thing. We like different mousetraps, so to speak. But one of the things we've been seeing are threat feeds. And there's a lot of really interesting threat research going on out there that can predict where these phishing sites are going to come from. And it's even in this case where Mustang Alleys was compromised and Trinity hit it, it still took a couple days for, for the rest of the industry, so to speak, to get to it. And let's just do a quick test here. I'm going to go back to my my Firefox, and we're going to go to Mustang Alleys right now, and let's see what stops it. Click on that, and looks like they fixed their malware, because I've gotten probably 8 or 9 different things testing this thing right now. So good for them that they've done that. All right, so I went through a lot of different phishing analysis, phishing tools, some thoughts, and some companies we didn't invest in, but I like. There's a lot going on in this market, and it's going to get worse because of all the AI tools that make it easy to generate false content, and basically put it in the face of people in text and email and that sort of thing. So if you have an idea, if you think you're looking for help for trying to get those users protected, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact us at investor@gula.tech. We try to give feedback. We try to give an answer to almost anybody that contacts us. And, if we're competitive, we'll tell you right up front, like, hey, look, I think we're in a company that's going to make it a little bit difficult for you to do what you're doing, but maybe that means you can go back and do better. And that's what we want. We want better defenses for people from phishing, from all these types of different types of email compromises. And, we're so dependent upon this stuff, and that's what we're here for, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the little entertaining animation up front. If you want to see more of this, give us a like and subscribe. Contact me on LinkedIn. And I hope you have a great week. Stay safe from phishing online.